The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we analyze and deconstruct the latest news pertaining to your health, fitness, and diet, where we break down what we hear and what we see and see if it makes sense, where we encourage your participation by calling us at 1-877-927-6648.
Primal is doing first things first, the important things. And that's the way I like to think of it. First things first, primal, most important, simple. Yeah. And, we don't have to be, pigeonholed into one thing or another. We're open to looking at research. Yeah. We're looking for evidence-based research that shows us that maybe the primal, the basic things are what's best.
I think so.
And so far, I think that's true.
Yeah. And this is Paige Clarke, and I'm Nico Haan, and here in Clearwater, Florida, it's a beautiful day, 86 degrees and sunny. So that's the weather report. You sent me this great article.
Nature's Vaccines. Children who live on dairy farms have almost zero allergies. Do we ever wonder why? This came out in Natural News, saying that studies in Sweden have determined that kids raised on dairy farms are considerably more resistant to allergies than those who live elsewhere, including nearby rural areas without dairy farms. So there's something going on. Gosh, you zoom in on these children, they look like the picture of health, actually. When you look at their little rosy cheeks. There was an earlier study that showed German study that showed that mice breathing in microbes from replicated farm air had fewer allergies. So I think, what does this really get down to? To me, this says let's let our let's let our children get down in the dirt.
Well, that's the first thing for sure I thought of too, is that they're living in a area where they're full of dirt, they're around animals, they're exposed to all kinds of things, and naturally they're going to be immune because of the I don't know how to put it. It's they're immune to these things because they're constantly getting those little boosters from the plants.
Our over obsession with hygiene has helped to create some of the illnesses that we're seeing. Here's a quote from the article. The argument posits that exposure to dirt and its natural microbes helps an immune system develop in a young child, so playing in the dirt is a good thing. This theory is known as the hygiene hypothesis, where too much hygiene or cleanliness for babies and toddlers disables development of a mature immune system. I thought that was just a really good thing to share with people so that they can maybe relax a little bit about some of this hygiene phobia. Yet, at the same time, right now, we're hearing about the superbugs.
Yes.
And we're getting a lot
in Florida here, we have the mosquito thing now. And now they want to inoculate you for the mosquito virus, whatever I forget what it's called.
And then with all this stuff with the children coming in from Mexico across the borders.
Right.
So, again, I think what we're seeing with these children raised on dairy farms is most likely a very rich population of the good bacteria, exposure to the good. Because really, we're human hosts for a bunch of bugs.
Yeah, that's what.
And the bottom line is, we want to make sure we have the good bugs and not the bad bugs.
Well, let me do a little analysis here. An allergy is a hypersensitivity disorder of the immune system. Symptoms include red eyes, itching, runny nose, asthma, hives, and asthma attacks. Allergy reactions are typically defined as sensitivities that occur when a person's immune system reacts to a supposedly harmless substance in the environment. The real problem is there are many nuanced substances in our environments which are no longer harmless. So what we're really doing, I think, what you're saying, if we're in the natural world, we're exposed to all the dirt and everything like that, it's fine. Now, if we change that, then now we have a modern society where we have artificial surfaces. We've got roads everywhere, we've got buildings everywhere, and we got dust from all the microbes and everything that follow the humans, the rats, the mice, all these things. Now we're having an environment that is more toxic.
You know, that's funny that you kind of gave us that little definition of an allergy, the hypersensitivity, because when I get to my little section on my musings on health and healing empowerment, A to Z, I'm going to touch on a little couple of points and positions that will kind of explain that hypersensitivity or that overreaction sometimes to something that shouldn't be.
Yes.
So, you know, the so-called autoimmune disorders, there are many researchers and famous researchers that really question why we've created this industry of autoimmune disorders, and we'll talk more about that. So make sure you help me stay on
Well,
track.
there's really 5 reasons I've got listed here that the reasons that allergies are actually increasing. Okay, and it's not in that article that you did. But the first thing is what you said, we're too clean.
Yeah.
We've got this phobia. You know, everywhere you've got these
and people are actually putting on triclosan and antibiotic hand gels out of fear of getting a bad bug, but they're actually creating antibiotic resistance or possibly disrupting the hormones.
Yes, because those are immune disruptors, those little hand cleaning things. So
yeah, let me make an aromatherapy, natural plant-based.
Yeah. I like that too. So that's the first thing. We're too clean. I remember when I was a kid, playing in the dirt was no problems. I was always healthy. And yeah, I got the chicken pox and I got the measles and all those things. But those are relatively, of course, they went away. Yeah.
And you know, when you say that playing in the dirt, I was a real tomboy. I lived in the creeks. I would stick my hands under the edge and I'd catch crawdads and lizards, and
you were one of my kind of girls. I was hanging out with girls like you when I was young.
I was a tomboy. I had fun.
That's great. Second, pollution. Common pollutions in the air, such as ozone, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen dioxide. These are all very sensitive to, we're really sensitive to those types of things. So they're going to be a problem for us. Exposure to smoke, especially smoke from the building materials. You know, when a house, not when you're building a campfire, but if your house is burning, you've got all this toxic stuff in there, especially if it's an older home, much more toxic than the newer homes even. Diesel exhaust, of course, smoking is not good, but pollution from cars is still, we've got trucks that go by every day that are diesel and that smoke, even though they're cleaner than they used to be.
We just have too
now
much
we have
of
more
the things
cars.
We don't need.
That's exactly right. Number 3 is genetically modified foods. We have a lot of things in our foods now that have never been proven that they do not harm us.
Right.
They do harm us in ways we don't even know yet. So it's very disturbing that and especially corn and soybeans and cotton and all these things are actually genetically modified everywhere, pretty much in the United States. In the EU, they're doing away with more of that. So.
Quite frankly, if you take a look at the studies, the population groups that have a low, the Amish, for example, they mentioned them in the dairy article. They aren't experiencing autism. They aren't experiencing these high levels of allergies, again, because they don't expose themselves to the pollution, the toxins of everyday life. They're connected
they probably
to the
don't
earth.
get the inoculations.
And they don't get the inoculations, and they're not eating GMOs.
Right. Number 4 on the list is medications in the water supply, and this is something that is very disturbing because how often have you even seen it on TV? The drug dealers, when the police come, they're going to shove it down the toilet. I don't know how many people actually put their medications down the toilet, too. I bet you a lot of them do.
They've been told, flush them down the toilet because someone might find them an overdose or something, and instead poison everybody in the water.
Yeah, and of course the fish. I know a lot of the stuff from the roads even, they're spraying in the cracks of the sidewalks and everything. They're spraying all that Roundup, and that goes directly into the water supply. And I live pretty close to the Intercoastal Waterway, a couple of miles away, and my drain directly goes into the Intercoastal. Right. So anything that comes from the road or from my yard is going to go directly into the bay and into the Gulf of Mexico. And everybody's spraying that stuff everywhere too. And the fifth one is the vaccines.
Yeah, you touched on that.
Yeah. So vaccines are everywhere. They contain a lot of problems. The adjunct
adjuvants, and additionally the fetal tissue.
Yeah.
The mercury, and different little organisms that really aren't supposed to be there have been found. As we know that many of us, that the SV40 virus was found in the polio vaccine for those of us in the 50s and 60s.
In the 50s, yeah.
So, so really what we find is allergies and autoimmune disorders, in different degrees are really a overreaction of the immune system. So I'll just go ahead and kind of touch on that a little bit.
Yep.
Reacting in an abnormal way to something that could be relatively harmless is what you can kind of think of it that way.
Right.
So a couple ways that I work with that is when I see these situations, it's kind of in different degrees. An autoimmune disorder, I really start to question, what do I always talk about? Stealth bugs.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't seem natural when we think primal and we think and we kind of break this down a bit. It doesn't seem natural that this amazing body and immune system would be foolish enough to develop an autoimmune condition.
Well, not in the natural world. It seems like it wouldn't.
Right. So, what is it? Is it really malfunctioning, or is it actually heroically trying to address something that bypassed the immune system with the biofilms?
And now it's going on. What is going on? I got to chase this thing around, and your body's kind of in overload in a sense. Well, that's a good thing.
And both of those two, allergies and autoimmune conditions, we want to look at cell membrane potential, which, we've designed Primal Edge to help maximize cell membrane function. But what else is involved in the membrane or in helping to make sure that we calm the immune system? Not an overactive immune system.
Calm it down.
Essential fatty acids.
Makes sense to me.
And the essential fatty acids that we need, can actually help. We want to make sure we start trying to balance out the healthy omega-3s, and we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, I started writing a little article called The Big Disconnect. I kind of stopped there, and the big disconnect to me is that as hunter and gatherers thousands of years ago, when we woke up in the morning, our thoughts were food, shelter, and being with people that we love. And those are the three things.
I can't think of anything else better to do.
Well, there is nothing better to do, and that's our lives.
Right.
These days, we're not chasing those three things anymore. When we wake up, the food is there. Okay, the shelters are already built.
We put on rubber shoes, so we're not connected to
the earth.
Powerful electromagnetism that we need.
So there's a lot of disconnects, and I think the disconnect is that when we leave the house, we don't have a clear idea of our own survival. It's kind of put aside. Let us take care of, our society kind of says, well, your survival is just the normal thing. We're taking care of that for you. You go ahead and be a slave and work for us in your meaningless job, even though you might enjoy it.
I love the way you find the big picture and the philosophical point of things, and I can't wait to read that article.
Well, I haven't written it yet. I just wrote down The Big Disconnect.
Oh, so in other words, you were inspired by the title?
By the title of it, because we need to really have a connection of going out, where can I find my food, because that's how we're going to remain healthy.
That's right.
If you're going to catch your own food, that's the way it is.
And we need to find the primal stuff, the right stuff.
And pick up my Health Signals newsletter. We'll discuss a little bit of that as we go, because I got a new one. Brand new issue, yeah. So we'll be right back. The number here is 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the signal box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on Chinese stocks, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening and watching Living a Primal Lifestyle. I am Paige Clarke.
And I'm
Nico Haan.
Yes, indeed.
And, this is where we talk about your health, your body, your mind, and your habitat, and how to live a primal lifestyle. We have a brand new issue of Nico's newsletter, Living a Primal Lifestyle, and I tell you, hope all of you are taking advantage of the free 30-day trial.
Yeah, it's only $5 an issue, so $10 a month, and then 30 days you can get 2 issues at no charge, and then from then on it's only $10 a month. So well worth it. A lot of stuff we talk about on here, and some of the things I throw in there that we haven't talked about naturally. But here's some of the things you will be getting in this issue.
And what people want, as you're going through it, there's powerful links to videos and additional resources that aren't even in the 20-some pages.
Here's an example. This is about earthing. And the title is "The Earth's Surface may serve as a giant source of antioxidants." On the second page here, when we get to it,
well, the electrons are absolutely the key to what we need. There's the earthing shoes. Yeah, we would all we lost connection to the earth when we stopped walking barefoot, and then when the shoe manufacturers started using rubber soles.
They even disconnected
us farther. So there's some manufacturers that are making shoes.
A great video here by Stephen Sinatra, Dr. Sinatra, about biogenics, earthing, and grounding.
And Dr. Sinatra is also the doctor who wrote the cholesterol myth with Johnny Bowden.
Right.
Yeah, so that's really good stuff.
Skin Secret Better Than Aloe. Okay.
This gives you some tips on natural things you can put on your skin. And there's the ozonated olive oil that we talked about last week and the benefits.
Study reveals how omega-3s provide protection against blindness even. Very cool. Lies about fats that destroys the world health. A great article.
That kind of gives us a little kind of synopsis of things after we saw that Time magazine
article.
Featured our
Right.
work.
Exactly. Yeah, it featured our work. And what you should know about methylation is something that we've really talked about extensively on here in the last couple of weeks. I thought you should all really look at this too.
And you'll understand a lot of why we were so particular in when we formulated Primal Edge. We wanted to make sure that these important nutrients that we got you, although they're more expensive to get the fully reduced form, it does you absolutely no good if you have a methylation issue.
That's right.
And we found out that there's a great percentage of the people that do.
Yeah, in fact, as far as I know, we're getting the labels printed. As soon as the labels are all printed, they'll be shipping the product.
Okay,
so stay tuned for that. A great talk in here, an interview with the Bulletproof executive with Dr. William Walsh, and he has his book here too, so I'd recommend you at least watching that video. Kombucha.
Your new favorite?
We talked about that, and I put a great article in here, and then how to make it yourself. And in fact, at Nature's Food Patch this next Tuesday, there's a lady that's going to actually demonstrate on how to make your own tea. So I think I'm going to go there and check that out too, because I'm really interested.
See, that's powerful. And there you actually listed that brand. I remember I drew a blank, a message from GT.
Yes.
And
That's
on there you put in that message, but again, he explained that his motivation was because his mother had been ill with cancer, and they made him change it.
I know.
Yeah, but you know.
And then I have something about exercise, about overreaching and overtraining, something that we touched on a little bit the other day. So that's pretty
And you know,
much
when we talk about overtraining, if you notice, the traditional exercises of Asian cultures, you know, whether it be Tai Chi or Qigong, are actually, and yoga, they're slow movements with breath. And although they can be very challenging and are actually, you know, provide resistance, we're not seeing that same activation of the sympathetic nervous system, like, oh my gosh, I'm running from a tiger. So I think we have a lot to learn from that. I'm so glad you're featuring that.
Well, it's really important, and it's really a part of my life is, of course, always trying to be on that edge. I got a competition coming up in about 5.5 weeks, so I started the training, started nice and slowly, and you just have to be careful because it's so easy to overreach, and sometimes you don't realize that you're in the overreach department, which you want to be in the overreach, you just don't want to be in the overtrain, and there's a fine line between the two. But, you know, as you get experienced in this, you're going to be more sensitive to it.
And as we know, when we overtrain, what do we produce? Oxidative stress.
Yes.
When we produce oxidative stress, we really need electrons or antioxidants to neutralize that, and we also deplete our mineral stores.
Yeah, and we get an acid buildup.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the acid built the whole environment because we can't get rid of the cellular waste, and we don't have the electrons and the raw materials to do work. So I think it's really kind of you know, we have a lot of people that wonder why we hear about athletes dropping dead of heart attacks and this kind of a thing. Many times they over-exercise, over-sweat, don't replace trace minerals, don't replace key electrolytes.
Yes.
And there we go. So there is a balance. And that's what we're here to find out.
Yeah, and you know, as the age of competitiveness goes up in athletes, because now we're seeing people in their 40s even doing high-level training and competitions. So I think it's very exciting. Folks, we'll be right back. The number here is 877-927-6648. And please pick up my Health Signals newsletter, and we'll be right back. A to Z next, right? All right.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments? Then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by BackTech Environmental. For more information, just click the BackTech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. It's Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. We're going into the A to Z segment, and we're still on the A's, going into the B's.
Yeah, boy, it's taken forever, but we might just kind of straddle that a little bit today. I'm going to talk. What I'm kind of doing is kind of going through an A to Z of health and healing empowerment musings that I have, and kind of to, just let you expand your mind. Of course, I'm not treating or diagnosing disease here, but sharing information that you might be able to use as you address some of these problems. So let's talk a little bit about arthritis.
Let me give it a definition.
Well, of course, we're looking at a WebMD definition.
Yeah, in fact, I wanted to comment on this because it says arthritis is inflammation of one or more of your joints. The main symptoms of arthritis are joint pain and stiffness, typically worsen with age, and the most common types of arthritis are osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. A funny thing on here at the bottom, it says treatments vary depending on the type. The main goal of arthritis treatments are to reduce symptoms
and improve quality of life.
Reduce symptoms, folks. They don't want to really cure it at all. They don't want to get rid of it. They just want the symptoms to go away.
So for those of you who've been listening to us...
And this is from the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay, so let's go on.
So because remember that the majority of allopathic medicine is symptom abatement, not situational reversal. So we're here to say, what can we do to help reverse situations? And there's lots of things that we can do. Let's take a look. For those of you who have listened to Nico and I talk, even from that definition, what do we hear? The risk increases with age, typically, especially with osteoarthritis.
Right.
And what do we also know that increases with age? The inability to digest and disinfect your food. So if we cannot digest and disinfect our food, we run the risk of having microbes that will end up in spots in our body that have low voltage. And that's what I believe is the majority of the situation behind this. A lot of situations that they so-called illnesses is a stealth infection that we just need to use our little detective situation. We use QRA and different things to try and determine, how we can arrest that. So what are we doing? We're giving people Tylenol,
Well, we're trying to do what the Mayo Clinic says.
Taking away the pain, which is the same thing as kind of pulling the idiot light out of the dash. It really is not doing anything to reverse.
It's kind of give you peace of mind because the symptom is gone for a little while. Boy, this is working.
Exactly. Yep. And so as a result of that, we're not addressing the root cause. I think it's an issue of raw materials, not having the right forms of calcium and the vitamin D and the K2 and the glucosamine, the collagen.
So a lot of it has to do with the food.
Yeah, in the minerals.
In the minerals.
And our ability to get them.
What's missing in our food?
So if we realize that this arthritis situation has really become an issue as we have depleted our soils, we can start to see that without the minerals that we all need, and how can we get them? Even those of us that choose to eat, organic foods, very rarely are we still able to get the minerals that are needed. As you know, reason Primal Edge is coming out and many other things. But what we've also known is different people have found out that, quite frankly, arthritis is a mineral nutrient raw material deficiency. And a lot of times it has a lot to do with the gelatinous disc. Some people refer to having disc problems.
Right.
Well, it's really a materials deficiency. Some people were scheduled.
You're talking about the cartilage, connective tissue,
Well, and what we see a lot of times in the connective tissue is simply, remember I think we've talked about the fact that when we talk about minerals, copper is implicated in a lot of ligament tendon elasticity. Copper is a beauty mineral for a face.
Well, not only that, copper itself destroys bacteria.
And what else do we know? We just saw in those shoes. Copper is a conductor of voltage.
Well, we certainly use that a lot in our electrical world, don't we?
Exactly. And some of our research is showing, there's a lot of people, that's a whole other topic I want to talk about because people talk about copper overload. Well, we've got situations where people can't detoxify the copper. They get a lot of copper because they can't get it in the cell.
Okay.
But what do? We want a mineral product that has a cell membrane modulator, such as the fulvicumic, that is the excellent thing that helps good stuff get in the cell, bad stuff get out. But I don't want to digress too much, but let's talk about what's happening. People are taking pain-relieving drugs. They're taking methotrexate, which is basically a chemotherapy type of drug.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're and that really ends up affecting the immune system and the bone marrow. So again, we're just creating more of a mess.
Paige, one of the first things I noticed when I changed my diet to a more primal type of diet was my symptoms of the pain with my arthritis in my hands and things like that really diminished. I mean, and it happened very quickly, within a couple of weeks. My wife, the same thing, because my wife has very, very bad arthritis. And she still has the stiffness, but not the soreness anymore, because that inflammation has gone away. So
well,
there's a lot of things that inflame us.
And what we know is that, particularly in veterinary medicine, like I said, most of us would be better off if we chose a veterinarian as our primary care doctor.
Yeah, that's funny, but it's so true, yes.
We would be much better off because there isn't this health insurance industry that can make $1 gazillion. So I think really what we have to start looking at is making sure that our bodies are getting the raw materials to build good, healthy bones and joints. And really, most of all these bone issues, arthritis, are related to either a deficiency or ineffective use. We've talked about maybe, how dangerous it can be to get the wrong forms of calcium. Some people are overdosing on these rock forms of calcium. Remember, guys, we weren't meant to eat rocks. We were meant to eat plants that take the calcium and put it into a usable form. So it needs to be plant-based calcium, this kind of a thing. But there's more than just calcium. There's other cofactors, and that's why I love frequency and energy medicine that helps to provide the information. We don't, again, even one particular food, we're not born with a, I don't know, just popped in my head, a banana deficiency. We need the frequency of the information that's in a banana.
Sure.
Banana might have been not the best food, but just for some reason it popped in my head.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a couple of things, because questions come up like the copper. So I've seen a lot of people wear like copper bracelets. A lot of people say they work. Some people say it didn't do a thing for me. Do those types of things really help?
Yeah, I've never worn a copper bracelet, but I understand that to be the case. You know, any time that we use one mineral, we could run the risk of becoming unbalanced, right?
Okay.
You know, so we got to be aware of that. You know, we need the zinc, and copper and zinc kind of play together. But I do want to talk more about copper, because I believe it could be a really big, you know, they find in research that young people have higher copper levels than older people.
Okay.
And so what I'm interested in doing...
are we not retaining the copper, or do we need just a constant supply of it?
Like, I think all of our minerals. We need all of our minerals in a symphonic, natural way, the way Mother Nature packaged them.
And combined the right way, too.
Combined in a full spectrum.
Yeah.
And periodically, we might get a little out of balance out of one or the other, and there's ways that we can check to do that. Now, what I do when people come in my office is I use QRA, quantum reflex analysis, and I often check bone metabolism points. And a bone metabolism point, for example, is C7, basically.
Okay.
So I will check the electrical voltage. It's like an electrical measure,
Really?
you know, QRA. And if you're not strong in that position, then we'll look at nutrition or aromatherapy or things like that we can put into your field, and then we retest the point. Then we can get an idea if there might be deficiencies. And remember, it's really, we're providing the body with the raw materials, so the body does the work.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah, it makes sense to me, yeah.
So as we're talking about, you know, arthritis and stealth, I want to focus again on the stealth infections. It would make sense if we have low voltage in our body that opportunistic bacteria would tend to migrate to a place where they could more easily multiply.
Yeah.
So really one of the first things that we want to do with people to make sure that have arthritis is we want to make sure they are digesting their food. Because every day that you open your mouth, we are being bombarded by foods that have been contaminated with microorganisms through the food chain. Used to be, you know, we were really designed to eat raw food, but as a result of today, we really can't eat the raw food. And you know, it's actually, as I mentioned to you, sometimes vegans and vegetarians that live off of salads are some of the most the largest sufferers of, say, parasitical infections, because oftentimes they go to restaurants and the salads are flocked on the counter where they were using other products.
Well, you know, another thing to consider is that raw vegetables and things like that are seasonal. Now, how did our ancestors eat that stuff every day?
Yeah, right, they couldn't.
No, they couldn't, unless, I think, they fermented them and soured them and pickled them.
Well, just like they couldn't kill a buffalo every day. So they would then take all the organs, dry the meat, take the bones, and keep making the... And speaking of bones, so let's talk about what was going on. I was reading a little story about a research where, you know, people were having arthritis pain, and they were about to go have surgery, and they decided to give them all a little bit of collagen chicken cartilage. What we all recommend people put an ounce or so into their
coffee.
Tiger Brew.
Yep.
Bulletproof. Our Tiger Brew. We kind of added that collagen, and then you know, what we're finding is make your own bone broth. We've got a listener, Alona, who gave us a great recipe. We can forward that to people.
Yep. It's in the newsletters.
We want to get those raw materials. So if you're getting collagen and glucosamine and chondroitin sulfate and vitamin D and usable forms of calcium and weight-bearing exercise, and you're digesting your food, you're not going to have these opportunistic infections that are going to cause breakdown and inflammation at different spots where these you know, bugs might be having lunch on you.
Yeah.
So.
And of course, exercise is going to play a role in arthritis, I would imagine, too.
Well, in helping to build the bone, because that actually really helps us.
But also the lubrication of the softer tissue, the cartilage.
And the ligaments, and the joining part. And we were talking a little bit of how copper is impactive on the ligaments.
Yeah.
You know, elasticity of the face.
Yeah.
Copper, elasticity of the muscles and ligaments and tendons that are connecting in the back, you know?
Yeah.
Or in the hands and our fingers. So.
Well, here in, of course, the Western society, we have lots of problems with hips and knees and things like that. And to me, from an exercise personal trainer, I know that we actually sitting in chairs causes many of the hip and knee problems because we don't use the full range of motion. We're actually, even the toilets, big problem. Because we're stopping halfway, we're not using, how many people would benefit from going up and down off the floor 50 times a day?
Right.
It'd be a huge thing.
Right.
There's your strength training. Right there. So movement and our restriction of movement and the types of jobs that we sit at the desk all the time or in any different position that's constant is not good for you. Movement is what our body was made to do.
Exactly.
And full range of movement is important.
So while we're talking a little bit about arthritis, there's another form of arthritis called rheumatoid arthritis,
yes.
which is categorized as an autoimmune disorder. And just to kind of touch on that, it is a much more difficult situation, and one of the first things we do is, again, we want to make sure you're digesting and disinfecting your food. We're going to look for interferences, such as vaccines. So I think you can follow what I'm saying. In the vaccines, was there a mycoplasmic type of bacteria that has escaped the immune system and has been having free range of the body and creating havoc? Are there toxicities that you just have not been able to...
Sure, mercury, magnesium, things like that they put into these vaccines.
And one of the things that I always like to do, because I think it's critical, it's kind of like one of the baseline things, just as I said, we need to make sure you're getting the baseline 90 or so minerals and cofactors and vitamins and amino acids to do the raw materials for your cellular repair. We also need to include the essential fatty acids. And I touched on that earlier in the segment. I was explaining that allergies and autoimmune disorders are really a situation where your immune system is overacting. And we like to think of EFAs as putting the brakes on the immune system. See, kind of calming down, quelling the fires. So
let it relax a little bit so it can do its job.
Yeah, and I think we're going to really need to talk a little bit more about, because we've touched on this a lot. I have some concerns about just like people taking rock forms of calcium. A lot of people are just buying fish oils from the big box stores, and they've been improperly packaged. They're probably rancid,
Most likely, yeah.
Contaminated, and I have some real concerns about that, and I'm doing a lot of research on that right now. And I just think it's really important that we get some of what we might call, like Brian Peskin's work, the essential parent essential oils, some very pure. I have a DHA that I use. But anyways, it's a combination of EFA oils that we're going to use, parent essential oils that we're going to use to help restore the membrane integrity. Remember, the essential fatty acids are what are the inner part, the kind of the bilipid membrane of our cells is kind of the vibratory part, and it's kind of the fluid part that helps. So we've got to have that, obviously, to get good stuff in and, get the good things out. So, we would be working at trying to remove those interference fields, and we really have to peel like an onion to figure out why the immune system has gone into this situation of viewing an invader is what it's doing when we have an autoimmune disorder. And I will tell you, there's places in Europe that don't really buy into the American story of autoimmune. That doesn't mean that I'm in any way discounting what's going on. In fact, what I'm saying is it's more sinister. There's a bug and we have to go find it. There's an interference and we have to go find it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Folks, we'll be right back. The number here is 877-927-6648. And got a real interesting subject coming up next I think you'll enjoy. So stick around for that. And please take time to check out my Health Signals newsletter. We'll be right back, folks.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Up next, the Diagnostics Trading Hour with Daryl Martin here on TFNN.
It's huge. Welcome back, folks. Nico here and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle. And, you know, I was raised, I was a teenager in the 60s.
Yeah.
And it was a great time of year because all the girls were taking off their bras.
Right.
And that's what this subject is really about. Ladies, ditch the bra. And there's real good scientific evidence because there's a link between breast cancer and wearing bras, especially tight-fitting bras.
Yeah, in a book called Dress to Kill, I actually read that book a couple of years ago. This is what they found. 75% of women who sleep in their bras develop breast cancer.
Wow, that's a big number.
1 in 7 who wore their bras 12 plus hours per day developed breast cancer. 1 in 168 who did not wear a bra developed breast cancer. And within 1 month of ditching their bras, women with cysts, breast pain, or tenderness found their symptoms disappeared. And this was over a study of 4,000 women in 5 major U.S. cities over 2 years. And guys, what this tells us is that the bra is interfering with a major lymph channel that we have. And the lymph from the upper part of our body drains, you know, through the armpits, through the breasts, and down to a major gathering point here kind of at the solar plexus.
Okay.
So That's really important information.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, of course, we're worried about the breast sagging, but the studies kind of show that doesn't really happen because the bra really doesn't help that.
Right.
Because I've seen breasts that are flat and all kinds of different shapes, and certainly we like the round, plump ones much better. At least us guys do. And I know a lot of women have really large breasts, very uncomfortable. In fact, one of my neighbors, when I was living down in South Florida, her 15-year-old daughter had just huge breasts, very uncomfortable. She was always very conscious, and for her 16th birthday, her mother gave her a reduction. And after that, the self-esteem of the girl was much better. Of course, she looked much more balanced, too. So there are things that will cause you to say, hey, I need a bra. But the studies show that maybe you should wear it a lot less than.
Yeah, the data suggests the bra cup size and breast size may be a risk factor for breast cancer. Why is that? Because the breasts have a lot of estrogen receptors.
Okay.
So, not completely, but it's a sign of a lot of estrogen encouragement there. So we hope that women that have larger breasts are also making sure naturally, that their progesterone function, which is the protective side of the female hormone, is in place. And I really like this article. It was talking about Andreas Moritz, who is a tireless researcher in natural health, recently passed away, rather, in my opinion, suspiciously, after he wrote a book called Cancer is Not a Disease, Andreas Moritz. He also was famous for the essential liver gallbladder flush, and if you ever have a chance to read his books on rejuvenation, it's extremely valuable. But he really explained that, he argues that people would die more quickly if the body did not form cancer cells. And that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, and cancer is kind of a disease that is a kind of a response to certain things happening in the body. In the case of the bra, there's confinement there.
Right. Well, the lymphs are not. Your body's not being able to drain.
Right.
Properly, and these nodes and so forth. Now, I also believe that there's a lot of research, with iodine deficiency. Well, why? Why do we have iodine deficiency? Well, if you actually look at a beautiful chart that I show a lot of my clients I work with, iodine is only absorbed in a very narrow range of pH.
Right.
And many of us aren't pH balanced.
So the recommendation here is to go braless as much as possible. I definitely support that.
Breathe, right?
Let those puppies breathe. A 15-year-old French study says that medically, physiologically, and anatomically, breasts gain no benefit from their weight being supported in a bra. That's a 15-year study. And there is some evidence that eliminating a bra can help ease the back pain. So it's a false need, according to many, many scientists, and get rid of the underwires especially.
Yeah, you can actually remove the underwire. So if you like the look of the bras that have the underwire, take a little razor thing, slice it, and pull the underwire out.
And you can wear looser stuff, too.
But when you get home, take them off. Give it some space. Yeah. Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you next week. Be healthy. Stay primal.
Yes.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.